All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Nerds Who Drink. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
Guys, this week we have another local brewery, sort of an offshoot from a local brewery. So 2SP is someone local, near and dear to our hearts. They're like right around the corner from us. This is their Northeast Hard Tea. And honestly, I've had it before. Mark's had it before. I really like it. I think it's something easy to drink. I would say more summery, but who's to say? I don't care if it's 24 degrees outside right now. Without further ado.
Summertime somewhere.
It is. And this week we are joined by, I wanted to hold this one off, but I'm kind of running out of shit. It's the Golden Snitch. It's beautiful.
Yeah, have you been seeing all the fake castings going around?
Yeah, I have seen a lot of fake casting about the Harry Potter stuff, and I would love to get into that because one of the big things I saw was they're not going to cast anyone that's not a British actor, similarly to the original Harry Potter series. So I think AJ said something about like Will Smith.
No,
Was it AJ?
It was me.
Oh, okay.
And it said they were casting the two funniest ones I've seen. Number one was Will Smith as Lucius Malfoy, and the second one was Terry Crews as Harry.
That's funny. That's fucking hilarious. So I did see the guy they did cast as Snape, and I think that's why like we're getting a lot of these spin-off characters. I mean, first of all, Snape's a made-up character, but he's no longer white, which whatever. As long as the guy does a good villain, I really don't give a shit.
Do you actually consider Snape a villain? Like
in the beginning, hindsight, like all right. So knowing what I know, no.
But watching it from like the beginning,
who he is supposed to be from book one, yeah, he's a villain. He's the guy you love to hate. And then turns out to be, he was doing it all for the right reasons in the long run. Like, I get it. I understand. Snape is, and Malfoy, like, if you give me a good Malfoy, I'm going to be okay with that. It's tough, though, because, like, we grew up with that. Like, we literally grew up watching those movies and reading those books. They came out during our childhood.
Dude, it was like the saddest thing. I remember it was right over like on Thanksgiving. My wife's uncle does a Harry Potter marathon for himself, pretty much. And like we're all just sitting there watching, and we're just like, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, she's dead, he's dead. Like every other like major character that comes on the screen, it's like, well, they're gone.
Dude, I mean, even the people that like, McGonagall was older. She was old when the movies came out, but like seeing her now, she's old, like 80s, 90s.
Well, she was the most recent one to pass, correct?
I think, yeah.
Because she was,
unless someone else did and I didn't know. But like, so like Bellatrix, like Helena Bonham Carter, right?
Carter.
She was, I'm not gonna say young because she was supposed to be like an adult character, but she was like in a younger form in that movie, and now you look at her and she could be one of the old professors now. You remember like Harry with a fucking bowl cut, and now he's adult ass Daniel Radcliffe. Like, it's just funny. I mean, they're about our age. They're within like a year or two of us. It's just crazy, like that we literally grew up with these people.
Would you want them to do a cameo of any of the original three in the TV series?
No. I think that would ruin it. It would take away. So it would take away from
Daniel Radcliffe, Dumbledore.
No, I think it would take away from the other cast. I would take a Cursed Child TV series. Give me a Cursed Child TV series. I would do that if you brought Daniel Radcliffe back.
Well, while we're on the morbid topic of death, on a positive note, the Sony Spider-Verse is finally going to be done after Kraven the Hunter.
So, if Kraven is a really good movie, I'm going to kind of be sad about that. So, it's one of those things where, like, it's a bittersweet sort of feeling. Like, yes, it's good for Marvel, who has the billions of dollars to, like, really flesh out the Spider-Verse properly. Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. He's young. He's got the time. He could effectively end up where Tobey Maguire was when he started, age-wise, and then we'd still be happy with Spider-Man. But, I thought Venom was a really good set of movies. I don't think Morbius was garbage.
I won't say
there was like a couple.
Garbage. I'd say I don't think it was as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
Well, absolutely. It wasn't like unwatchable. It was just they had so much more they could have done with it.
There's many questionable calls. Like, number one, if Michael Keaton's getting pulled back into the MCU, why are you trying to set up a Sinister Six movie in a post-credit scene that involves him?
Yep. I mean, I get the multiversal thing, and Marvel probably paid them, or they paid Marvel to whatever cross that over somewhere. But was it worth it? Like, and I'm not saying the Sinister Six thing wouldn't work. Just let Marvel do it. Sony realistically should have just said to Marvel, like, "Hey, you can give us a percentage of the profit," because when you look historically at the time, hand over hand, like Marvel was fucking crushing it. Sony was not. Now you were in fucking past phase 3 and it's shit roll downhill type thing. And I'm really kind of worried about like the Marvel universe. I've liked some of the projects they've done. I'm just not like overall sold on everything. Like prior to that, it was like, all right, Thor Dark World was like not the best, but it was still good. But this, I'm like, everything feels like Thor Dark World, and
Yeah, like,
we're
we've
all
been
kind
through
of
3 phases with arguably, maybe 3 bad movies?
maybe, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, you had Eternals that just kind of didn't fit in anywhere. Because Eternals was in the first 3 phases, right? Or was that the start of phase 4? Either way, it was right in that realm of like, it doesn't quite make sense to put it here. Like you said, you have Thor the Dark World. And then, for me personally, like, I really didn't think Iron Man 3, like, the story was really good, and he put on a hell of a performance, but, like, the story.
I don't disagree. So I'm not even gonna say it's necessarily, again, not a bad movie. I think I was, as an Iron Man fan and as a Robert Downey Jr. fan, it really was just the suit, like the party protocol, the house party protocol is what he called it, right?
Right.
That did it for like that was like immediate, just awe, shock and awe. Like holy shit, he's been fucking busy with fucking 85 suits. Like he says Mark 85, and you're like, oh yeah, it's like an 85th iteration. Like you didn't think he did 85 fucking suits that he kept.
Right. If anything, he, like, just kept adding on to, like, one
Yeah, like oh,
single
this is
suit. He just kept upgrading one single suit. Not he
and
built
I
a
mean,
brand new suit for each one.
and I mean, some of the suits, I'm so sad we didn't get to like get real screen time with them. Like you had 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5, and then like a couple like random, iterations here and there. But when you really got down to it, there's like a fucking spacesuit. There's one that's underwater. There's the one that like breaks apart into fucking pieces, the Heartbreaker, and this and that. And it's just like, dude, that's what did it. That's what did it for that movie. Like, I think that saved it from being a just complete and utter shit show.
Yeah, because, like, I really liked Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, kind of showing that side of, like, he is just a really smart dude with no powers, and showing, like, the PTSD that he's going through after all these traumatic events. Because let's be honest, like, no Avengers movie is like, you'd be cool with that. Like, every single one of those would be like a trauma.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, they're not saving the world; they're just mitigating death.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, yes, they save the world, but like, at what cost? Like, could you imagine? You're just like, oh man, I just got done a long shift at work, and you walk out, and your car is just fucking ripped apart by a Chitauri. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, oh man, I gotta walk home. I don't think my insurance is gonna cover alien invasion.
But I had a storyboard idea. So, Kevin Feige, you're listening. Now, I know I've heard rumors, and I believe you just watched Venom: The Last Dance, correct?
I did. Good
Okay.
movie.
So, I have yet to see it, but I've heard the rumor that Null is supposed to be coming over to the MCU to be the villain for, God, what's his name? Tom Holland's Spider-Man. What I think would be kind of cool is if that is true and you're going to bring him over, he's not a he is a Spider-Man villain, but, like, he's an Avenger level threat. Like, Null. It's not just like he comes over, Spider-Man fights him and beats him. Like he's like a we need all hands on deck before shit goes sideways kind of a character. So what I think would be nice is if they are going to go the route of keeping Spider-Man as more of a street level character, just kind of do a live action, not complete retell, but run it similar to the storyline you just told in Spider-Man 2 for PS5.
Yeah,
So like
I
you
could
have
see
the
that.
Craven movie. Let's bring Craven over. Craven is Spider-Man's street level threat, but then there's like you have that hint that like okay, we know Venom's out there somewhere. We know Carnage is out there somewhere. We know Null now is out there somewhere. And then you can kind of start building up to that.
I think that's like a really good idea on not retelling a story that's already been told. Now, most Sony stuff I'm not like super big on, but I think that Venom was one of those things that we can all like come together and be like, yeah, it was good. I mean, you haven't seen the third one yet. Feel free to stop by whenever. You got fucking carte blanche use of my movies. But dude, it's really just it was a good series of movies. Like I liked all three of them for separate reasons, and I really think that they built a decent world around the Tom Hardy character. So yeah, I'm okay with it. I think if they just boom, all right, we're now in Tom Holland's universe. They kind of already did it, so it's not so far fetched. Have them get sucked into a different universe. We'll figure it out. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and
I mean,
Sony even already planted the idea to make it possible because, like Venom says, like we are a hive mind. Null created the symbiotes, so if they're a
well, I
hive mind
also
and they're connected to Null, then Null would know
yeah,
that Venom is the only symbiote that's crossed over the multiversal plane to our knowledge to this point. So Venom would be the key to bringing Null over. And Null is literally a character you could build an entire phase around, kind of like you did Thanos.
kind of like they screwed up with Kang. Speaking of, I just want to real quick touch on that. I saw something the other day that said that his wife, girlfriend, whoever it was that like reported him for assault, retracted her statement
Okay. Now, all this time later, shocker.
and was like, "Yeah, it didn't actually happen." So here's two parts to that. Yeah, as a guy and as someone who used to work in law enforcement. First of all, like 9 out of 10 times you're gonna believe the woman. That's just like nature of the beast. It's really upsetting because I like Jonathan Majors as an actor. I don't know him as a person, but I like him as an actor.
Yeah, I thought they were building Kang up perfectly. They were kind of
They
like,
were
it showed that there were some that could be like a little timid, like we see in Loki. Like he's really not that bad of a guy. But then you get like Ant-Man and the Wasp, where you get Kang the Conqueror, where he's like, yeah, fuck everybody. Like this is my time.
absolutely, and I think they picked a great actor to play him. Everything I've seen him in, I'm like, wow, like he really knocked this role out of the park. And the dude is, for lack of better words, built like a brick shit house. He's a monster. So yeah, you really got a feel for a guy. And again, if the accusations weren't true and she really retracted her statement and it was just like she was trying to get something out of it, that's sad because you ruined a man's career. Marvel's not going to be like, you know what? All that bad press, it's okay. She said it was fake. No, they're like, that's all out there on the internet forever. So you're never going to get cast again.
And the other thing too is now you're in kind of like this limbo because they've already announced like RDJ's coming back to play Doom. There's theories that they're gonna bring back what's his face.
Steve Rogers, Chris.
I've heard that there's a possibility that part of Doom's army will be Captain Hydra, played by.
I'm excited about that.
And I mean, how long ago did I bring up like do a? I'm pretty sure it was Multiverse. It might have been when Multiverse of Madness was about to come out. I was saying like they should have a like a Steve Rogers Captain Hydra kind of a story.
I completely agree. I think fuck it, round it out, bring in Chris Hemsworth as a bad guy, and we'll just call it a day.
I would love, and that's the other thing I've been saying is like not necessarily make every single hero a villain, but like in the comics, almost every single one of them have had some kind of villain arc. So you can start playing off of that too. Like give us World Ender Hulk. Like you brought in Red Hulk. Maybe the only way to stop him now is Hulk. Like the Hulk has to go like super nuclear.
Yeah, Dude, I mean, it's a trope for every single comic book character. I mean, Injustice, Superman. I mean, on top of like every other, but like it really gives you an idea of like what these characters are capable of. The time when Spider-Man and Doc Ock switched brains and like he found out that he was like really pulling punches. Because how like strong Spider-Man actually is. So yes, they all do eventually go bad or dark or they've got to do something questionable. Like just make it happen. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've said this before too. I think that's such a cool concept because maybe it's people of our generation, but like I'm over the fucking superhero being the good guy thing. Like that's why Venom is so appealing to me because he's not like he's not a bad guy. He's not like I'm just gonna murder people for murder's sake, but he's a villain. I want more villain era shit, dude. Like I know all the stories of the heroes. I don't know all the stories of the villains. Not everyone's gonna be a knock out of the park. Like I don't need a Captain Cold origin story, but some of these people, you know, like they got some fucking cool backstories. Morbius might not have been the best option, but they're a Craven the Hunter. That's an interesting story. What makes him special? Like Morbius, you're a fucking vampire. I didn't like vampire movies when I was in high school. I actively avoided pretty much any Twilight talk. So yeah, I'm not a huge vampire guy. Craven the Hunter, that's different. That's a cool origin because I kind of put him in the same camp as like Hawkeye. Like you're a dude who's just really good at what you do.
No, I
Like
agree
Hawkeye,
with
I
you.
mean, in the MCU, Hawkeye doesn't have any powers. I know he technically, like per comics, you know, his power is just divine accuracy.
It's like Bullseye.
Yeah, and but Craven, like, if they're not gonna make him super powered, like he's just a dude who's really good at hunting shit, and I can get behind that.
Yeah, because I mean, Madam Web was an absolutely.
It could have been so good if they had just done it right.
Yeah, I mean, Morbius wasn't terrible. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't terrible. And like, these are all characters that like maybe the MCU could do something with. I
Absolutely.
mean, I think it kind of villain level. I understood it, but I would have preferred Carnage to be like the final Venom villain.
Yeah. I mean, I like you said, I think Null's an important step in that because he could be brought over to the MCU and made into like an Avengers level threat in a future phase. Because now, like you said, so we have at the end of was it the last Venom when he left a piece of Venom in the MCU? Okay, so now that's canon, right? Tom Holland, that exists. So Venom's still here. I'm not gonna ruin the movie for you. I'll let you watch it. But that means that whether there is an Eddie Brock, Tom Holland in this universe or not, or sorry, Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, not Tom Holland. All these fucking Tom H. Hiddleston, Holland, oh, Jesus Christ, Hanks. But no, like you know, if there's a Tom Hardy in this universe in the MCU that just hasn't crossed paths multiversally with the one that just went back to Sony, maybe that Venom's going to seek him out. You know, I don't. I'm not here to speculate. That's kind of whatever. But maybe that's what it does. Maybe Tom Hardy comes from the Spider-Man universe looking for that last piece of the Venom because he needs it for something. Like, whatever the case may be, that's we have that ability to do that now. And I think that would be awesome for Marvel to even have Tom Hardy in one movie or like Tom Hardy's looking for that piece. It attaches itself to Tom Holland. That's where we get the black suit. If you were to bring in a live action Miles Morales, I'd be okay with that too. Like you said, make a Spider-Man 2 kind of movie. I'd be fucking
Well, from what I've heard, Tom Hardy is done playing Eddie Brock. So
okay.
the way that I would hope that they would do it, because again, they planted the seeds. Doctor Strange explained that the closer you are to your universe, the more your what you call it, the other U's throughout the multiverse look different from you. Which I mean, take that with a grain of salt because all three Spider-Man look completely different, but every Doctor Strange seems to look the same.
Well, isn't he's a Nexus being similar to Wanda? Yeah.
I didn't think Doctor Strange was a Nexus being in the comics, at least. Not saying he's not in the.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't like
so
that.
he's never been a Nexus being in the comics.
Okay. I didn't like that. The first thing I pulled up was from Screen Rant. Is every MCU character a Nexus being? All right, I'm done. I'm done with that fucking Google search.
Yeah, no, it says though Doctor Strange has never been a Nexus being in the comics, he seems like the perfect candidate for such an honor within the MCU.
Yeah, I feel
Basically,
like
it's
MCU would
saying
do that.
possibly that the MCU movies are going that he is, but in the comics he never has been.
Yeah. No, I think the MCU sort of set that up so that he was by making him the same in every universe, minus like minor details.
Right.
But same as like Wanda. Like Wanda looks
Wanda
effectively the same in
definitely
all.
is.
Yeah, oh no, Wanda is like canonically. I'm just saying that like I think they sort of did the same thing with Doctor Strange. But now who the fuck am I?
But the reason why I was bringing that up though is because maybe that piece of Venom now that stayed there, it'll seek out that Eddie Brock.
Yes, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, regardless whoever Eddie Brock is, it's going to seek out that person.
'Cause I was hoping that the way that they could have did it was in the third Spider-Man movie, like he's about to kill Green Goblin, like he's aggravated, and that's what the symbiote seeks out is the aggression,
Yep.
and then it amplifies it, and also turns you into a jazz-loving bully. But
That was if they don't do one of those scenes with Tom Holland, I'll be so sad.
we got Bully Maguire. That's all we needed.
Yes.
But
Emo Maguire, I fucking loved it.
But like I don't know. I mean, that could be something that they do. So like maybe the immediate threat is Doctor Doom, but I don't know how you have Doctor Doom and Null both at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be that. It's
Like,
gonna be one of those things where I feel like he's gonna be the next, like the post Doctor Doom bad guy.
and that's
You're
what
gonna
I'm thinking.
introduce him similar to Thanos.
But like, how do you do away with Doctor Doom without pissing off an entire fan base? You know what I mean?
So you're
Because like,
gonna
you
you're
have
gonna introduce
Doomsday and
Doom.
Secret Wars, but then for how much longer is Doctor Doom like the threat? Because like Thanos was like 25 movies. Like they were
I
building for
know.
Thanos.
That's where the whole thing with Jonathan Majors fucked me up because it's like, dude, you set Kang up so well, TV series, movies. He's been there for however many movies so far. It was a real it was a knockout of the park, it was a home run, guaranteed. But now you've got to replace him with Doctor Doom, who like is a very well known character. I'm not sitting out here saying that like it's like, oh, who's Doctor Doom? Like Kang was kind of the unknown really in that scenario, which is cool because I actually really appreciate that as somebody that like didn't really grow up on that story, but like I knew who the fucking Fantastic Four were, and the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, that's like peanut butter and jelly. Like you know who they are. So for me, it was one of those like I know who Doctor Doom is. We've had Doctor Doom in every single Fantastic Four iteration since I've been born. Do we need it? No, but Robert Downey Jr. That's where my like. It's like I love Robert Downey Jr., but I don't know if we need Doctor.
Said I'm like I love Doctor Doom, but I don't know if we need Robert Downey Jr. to play.
Oh no, I know. Listen, I completely agree with you. I don't know if we need Robert Downey Jr. to play him. I'm just such a big Robert Downey Jr. fan that like basically getting him back in any sort of capacity was like, wow, all right, I'm cool with that. But I think again, similar to the Harry Potter thing we just talked about, like I think that might sort of I know the multiverse. I'm not like unaware of that. I think it's really going to step on the toes of the concept that like we could have someone else play him.
And I mean that's the thing. So for me, if it's literally just okay, this they're doing I forget the actual story arc's name, but there is a story arc where Iron Man in another universe does become Doctor Doom or they switch minds or something. If they're
Yeah,
strictly doing it that way and they have a plan for our universe's Doctor Doom, then yes, I'm cool with it. If you're just bringing in Robert Downey Jr. because your product is tanking and you know that he could be like Marvel Jesus,
no, that's Deadpool. It is the infamous Iron Man arc, and it's effectively like Iron Man becomes Doctor Doom. Which again, like I'm okay with the concept of our good guys being our bad guys. Like that is fine with me. But if you're going strictly Doctor Doom, that's not the move.
yeah, because I mean, to me, I put Doctor Doom on like the same level as like Magneto.
Yeah, he's not an Avengers level threat. You can be handled by like a small sect of people from the Avengers or the Fantastic Four, but like you're not a world ender.
In the comics, Doctor Doom can be.
He can correct, he can be, but I mean, let's fucking be honest. The MCU has nerfed a lot of characters. Thanos is an Avengers level threat. He is somebody that like was trying to
And in
cut
the
half the
comics,
universe.
Doctor Doom fucking plants Thanos on multiple occasions.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm just saying that, like, based on the MCU's track record, Doctor Doom doesn't really seem like the guy. But
Fair enough.
whatever. I thought Kang was a solid option because, again,
And then
notoriety wise, lesser, and Kang having that like multiversal presence that they set up was, I mean, that was great. I
right.
loved that concept.
And honestly, like the whole thing too, that really aggravates me with like if going full ADHD and going back to what you were saying about like her
Oh, you're
retracting her
cool, dude.
statement.
I'm in the same boat.
So if she really did retract her statements, just think of like just the build up they did for Kang in the Loki show. They dedicated like half an episode to just explaining like, hey, we fought amongst ourselves. If we fought amongst ourselves, we don't give a rat's ass about you. Like he even says, he's like, "Oh, if you think I'm bad, like wait until you meet the others." Like,
Absolutely. And the fact that there's billions of them and they have like a fucking coliseum full of Kangs, I thought that was a really cool concept too. Because you don't know which one you're going to get. And it could be the guy that's, mild and timid, like you said, or the guy that's just like, I'm killing everyone because it's Tuesday. And you don't know. And like, I love that idea. But sorry, as we're a little back on track. So we're midway through the month of December at this point, which means holidays are in full swing. For those of you that celebrate, awesome. I know, Mark, you wanted to talk about your favorite holiday movies or Christmas movies, or whatever. So hit me with a couple. I know you brought it up, so.
so do you want to go top five, or would you rather go top three? Because I know this is a tough category just because there's so many.
We can go top three, and then if we have any that overlap, we can just add another on. We'll figure it out.
Here's what I'll do. I'll do two honorable mentions and then my top three. Are we going in any particular order? Are we going in order or just
Nah,
my
I
top?
don't think I even have an order. I just have the ones that I'm like, oh, I would watch this every single year on, in December.
So obviously your top three has to have Elf.
Of course.
For me, I have The Year Without a Santa Claus,
Okay. Solid.
The Heat Miser, Freeze Miser, Mother Nature. Then the third spot's always like the hardest for me because I'd probably have to go Eight Crazy Nights.
See, that's in my honorable mentions category. I love that movie. Hilarious. Like, Adam Sandler crushed that.
And the fact that like it's just like it's an Adam Sandler movie. Like yes, like it has that stupid comedy and this and that, but like it's still just a good movie. Like it just holds
It
up.
is.
The comedy holds up well. Like it's a very, very, very like I quote it almost all the time. Like
Oh, dude, the part where Whitey's having the seizure, he's like, "This is the happiest day of my life." I say that all the time.
no, this is seizure. I just love it when the one kid's like, is he breakdancing? But those would probably be my top three. Like if I had that put them in order, it'd be The Year Without Santa Claus, then Elf, then probably Eight Crazy Nights. Once we start
So
getting honorable
obviously,
mention, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
like the original, not like two or three or four or however many fucking made.
The OG first one. Like the other one, the sequels are alright, but like the first one is just classic. And if I had to go with a fifth one,
I'm hoping you don't hit the one that I really want to like dive into. But yeah, go ahead.
I'd have to say How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey.
Fuck you.
So I mean, some people count it Nightmare Before Christmas as a Halloween movie, but that's something like
I mean, it's both. It's both. You can watch it at Halloween. You can watch it at Christmas. You know, I want to say a controversial one. Die Hard. Hmm?
I put it in the same category as Nightmare Before Christmas. Like it takes place on Christmas, but is it really a Christmas? Is
There's a Christmas party going on during the movie, so like,
right? But is
I mean, it depends on what you consider a Christmas movie. You consider a Christmas movie something that celebrates the spirit of Christmas?
sometimes there's usually an element of celebrating Christmas. Like Bruce Willis isn't trying to save Christmas from Hans Gruber.
Speaking of saving Christmas, fucking that just reminded me. Arnold Schwarzenegger in God damn it, why can't I think of the movie?
Right?
Is it Turbo? Well, fucking Turbo Man. the action figure where he's looking
Oh
for
my
the
god, Jingle All the Way. I forgot
Jingle
about
All the
Jingle
Way.
All the Way.
That movie, that one
Oh,
every year. That
and Sinbad.
yes, wonderful, wonderful casting.
Actually, the Big Show's in it too. Or is it the Big Show or is it Hulk Hogan?
No, I think it's the Big Show.
I think it's the Big Show when they're in the warehouse and he's fighting all the ones or whatever. He's like, "I'll fight all
Yeah,
you," and then the one big ass one comes out. I think that's big. I think that's Big Show.
yeah.
I forgot about.
Obviously Jim Carrey's Grinch. Although I'll tell you what, the new Grinch from Illumination or DreamWorks, whatever, it's a funny movie.
Is it?
It's
I
like
haven't seen it.
it's not bad. The soundtrack's pretty cool. It's like a different twist on it, which I thought was interesting. There's a couple things where I'm like, that's not like it doesn't track with the original story, but I'm okay with that because they didn't try to recreate the gold that already existed. They just kind of like took their own spin on it, which I thought was cool. And then I'm gonna say Elf, but like you already said it. So A Christmas Story with Ralphie. Man, you shoot your eye out, kid. That was like one of those things that I think one of like my uncle quoted to me like on a regular basis as a kid. Like that movie was awesome. And I mean, you could say what you want about Christmas movies, but like that's iconic. So all right, so we got Jingle All the Way.
You want to hear my hot take real quick before you can?
Okay, yeah. Hit me.
Because me and Danielle me and my wife were just talking about this the other day. So when it comes to Home Alone, all of them, and A Christmas Story, I think they're the two most overrated Christmas movies out there. I really do. Like, I really don't think Christmas Story is anything special. Like, I'll watch it, but like, I don't know
So
if
I
it's
think
because like when I was younger in school, like I was in band and chorus and all that because like you had to be. And like every Christmas, that was like while we were waiting to perform, they would just have that just on repeat. And then like I don't know if I've just watched it too many times, but I just don't find them to be good movies. We need like a soundboard like buzzer for when I'm wrong on things because I feel like a lot of people are gonna have issue with this take, but I think it's overrated. I think he froze. He may be having technical difficulties. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back. Hey.
yeah, I don't know what happened. That was interesting. So, um,
But
yeah, it was
that's
like
my
you have no
hot
internet, and I'm like, but I do have internet. Whatever. So you think it's overrated? I get it. I think for me, it's more of again, I'm going to use the word nostalgia. But like I grew up on that movie and it's just one of those things that like it reminds me of being a kid and I loved like that my family would sit around and we'd all watch the movie and we'd laugh and it was just Christmas. That's what reminds me of Christmas. But yeah, that Elf's obviously always in there. Like Will Ferrell killed that movie. Jingle All the Way, great movie.
National Lampoon.
National Lampoon. I mean that, yeah. Christmas Vacation, like that. Chevy Chase, is America's Dad. Like that really is I genuinely feel like one of the most realistic like Christmas movies. You're stressed, your family's coming to stay with you. You want your house to look perfect and it's just not working. Your job screws you over right before the holiday. Like,
Your shitter's full.
yeah, I don't know why the carpet's wet. It's just one of those movies that I'm like, damn, I can relate to that on like so many different levels because like I've been there. Like, oh man, you're getting screwed over at Christmas, or oh hey, this one light doesn't work, so your entire strand of lights doesn't work. So all the work that you just put in for the entire day making your house look Christmassy, you're screwed. But yeah, it's one of those things where like that was a funny movie, and again, that's another one that like I watched alongside Christmas Story growing up. It was just the classics. So yeah, those are I've definitely named at least 5 since doing that. But yeah, that's my list. I don't think I even have honorable mentions at that point. They're all just kind of like in the same boat. Love
Hemisphere.
all of them. But
Yeah, like I said, I know there's a lot of them. I know it's probably one of the harder lists to kind of narrow down because, like, we just did. Like, you're like, oh, I got this, and then like you were like, yeah, like you got this one, and it's like a National Lampoon and this and that. It's like, oh shit, and Jingle All the Way, and oh yeah, I forgot about these movies. Like, I completely forgot about Jingle All the Way, and I watched that religiously when I was growing up. Like, it's not the toy, action figure.
honestly, yeah, that one's one of my favorite because I always wanted like a Turbo Man action figure growing up. I just thought that was like a cool thing. I love the fact that like he ended up being that guy in the Turbo Man in the fucking parade. Like, it's just hilarious. Yeah. You got Sinbad as like the dirty mail carrier trying to steal people's fucking mail and shit. Like, that's funny. That's funny to me. But yeah.
Just the fact that literally the villain in that movie is a mailman. Like,
Yes, I very much believe that to be true. You know how many Amazon packages I've had not show up to my house? They are the bad guy.
dude, I've seen so many videos where like you see like the driver like drop it off, they walk away, and you see him like sneak back around, grab it, and leave. Like,
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure that's happened to me a few times, which is why I try not to order like expensive stuff anymore online. I'm just very much like I try not to. Although, and you know, as long as Amazon doesn't come for me, I ordered a flash drive the other day. I ordered two flash drives the other day, 256, like solid state little flash drive guy, just because I needed like some extra space. I needed something. I was like, you know, if I could order two, I'd get it delivered the same day. I didn't get two. I got seven because they sent me one and a case of them. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, you've screwed me enough times, Amazon, so I'll just keep them, whatever. So, real quick here before we wrap up, I'm very excited. If you guys are coming out in January for the birthday, I've got 2 gallons of mead currently sitting like not even a foot from me, brewing. I'm very excited for them. I have a dark bold honey and a cran apple honey wine. So I'm very excited for this. The cranberry apple one's probably going to be like a little sweeter. And the dark bold honey, I have to decide on whether I want to put fruit in it or not yet to make it a specific flavor. I have 2 weeks. Well, I guess today's day 5, so I have like a week and a half to decide that. But it smells wonderful. And I'm just like sitting here watching them bubble. They're beautiful. The yeast is just, you know, it's making some fermented beautifulness in there. But yeah, that's going to be my new thing. We're going to be the nerds who make alcohol. And yeah, I'll make you some stuff. I got bottles, so you're going to get a bottle. I'm trying to get a label made up for them. It'll be a good time.
I'm excited.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what we can do that every year too. Get everybody come over. We'll do the nerds who drink holiday party
I'm down.
for the friends and fans. And then we also have, I know we talk about this like every so often. I usually forget about it because just like you, ADHD brain, if it's not directly in front of me, I forget about it. The Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo. Mark and I are some guests of honor at the cheesesteak dinner. It's very exciting. It's coming up this January. Let me get you the exact dates so we can hopefully see you guys there. I'm super, super, super excited for that. So, like, if you're into tabletop gaming or things of that nature, you know, role play, blah, 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 it's going to be January 5th, 6th, and 7th, it looks like, 2025, Oaks, Pennsylvania. So Mark and I are the sponsors for the cheesesteak dinner. Might not be the 5th, 6th, and 7th. There's no fucking way it can be the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Am I crazy? Am I just like insane? Yeah, no, it's definitely not 5th, 6th, and 7th. God, what am I doing? Giving you wrong information. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say it's like it's a Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, 16th through the 19th. There we go. That seems significantly more reasonable. So yeah, we're gonna make some cool stuff happen. We're gonna be out there. I might not be there the entire weekend just because, like, you know, life. But I'd like to get there at least a day, you know, catch up with some people, do some things, maybe do some interviews if you're down for that. Let me know. I'll order the tickets for us. But yeah, I'm super excited to kind of, you know, get face to face with some people, do a cheesesteak dinner, which is awesome. I feel like I want to dress up for it, but I'm like, I don't want to be the asshole that shows up in a suit to a cheesesteak dinner.
You don't want to be that guy.
I don't want to be that guy, but I also kind of want to be that guy, you know? We'll get us some nerds who drink polo shirts. We'll be rocking out some good shit. But
Yeah. As I want to keep an eye out for updates, go ahead and just follow us on all of our social media stuff at
absolutely.
Nerd2Drink. We'll keep you guys updated on Instagram. We're on Twitter. I believe we're back up on YouTube now, so go ahead, like, subscribe.
We are. We're also on TikTok.
Leave us comments. We do read them. We do reply to them. All of them. We are also on, as we found out, TikTok and kind of blowing up more than we expected to with some of our stuff. So thank you guys for that.
Yes.
We do pay attention to it.
I try. I really have been trying to like respond to all the comments. It's like a fucking second job. But no, seriously, guys, we appreciate all of the responses, all of the feedback, all of the argumentativeness. I actually do appreciate that. So if you have thoughts, opinions, you love us, you hate us, let us know. We're here for it. I guess last but not least, I'm Steve.
And I'm Mark.
And guys, if we don't see you before the holiday, have a great holiday and a happy new year. And we'll catch you guys next time.